And at the moment, it looks like we've got this issue. Just waiting for the lap scorers to get the issue sorted out, and hopefully we'll be able to get the full coverage very soon as the riders make their way out onto the circuit. Now, it looks like Rhys Stevenson on the 1, 2, 3, and again, he was a rider who really is making a name for himself this year. And there have been some top riders actually, like Pete Hickman and a few others have been coming along to these BMB events, and this is a rider who they have noticed is one that seems to absorb information like a sponge, really learning all the time and looking very competitive.
Yeah, he's a rider that's been on the lips of many experts in the paddock for a while now, and you know, he's definitely a rider who's got good developmental speed. He doesn't really push any harder than he has to in races. He's good at reining himself in when the pressure's on, and he's good at working with the tyres in particular on the bike. Now that's the kind of thing that really does you good in terms of the endurance side of things, but also in terms of the team development of, side of things. If you're needing to work with a bike to get it to move further up the order, it's that mentality, that decisive and analytical approach that really gives you a good benefit. And pro teams in the future, they're going to look at somebody like Rhys Stevenson with his very objective but also very clear-cut methodology of working with the bike, and it's really going to pay him dividends in the future. There may not be many bikes in this particular heat, but obviously you're going to get to see a lot of riders really pushing themselves to their limits as they get through. But yeah, absolutely, Stevenson's a name that's been cropping up quite a few times over the last 18 months anyway, and he's a rider that we definitely need to keep an eye on, and the focus for the future for him is essentially to just keep knuckling down, keep doing what he's really good at, and essentially just ride every race that comes to him with that same authority, that same discipline, and that very measured approach. It's going to serve him well as time wears on.
Well, Rhys Stevenson has very much been the rider to beat. We've got not many riders in this race, but last time out at Lyd, it certainly was not short of action. Riders then lining up and will be underway in just a few moments' time. Next out, of course, we will have the pit bike stock classes, which we will look forward to a bit later on in the programme as we get underway. Not the best start for Stevenson. Away he goes in third position. I'm just going to watch, that's the 46 at the front there as we make our way up towards Christmas for the first time. Oh, very decent start here, and as you can see, well, we thought there was a start. We thought there was a start.
Is that not a start? I think they've sent them round again,
haven't they? They dropped the flag, didn't they? But yeah, the official's still on track, so getting a little bit excited there, but
I think we're just going to have to let them go around again another time.
It did seem a bit odd there. It didn't seem like they were going full pelted.
No, it didn't seem like they were a full chat. I was a little bit confused there. The eyebrows were raised, let's put it that way. But yeah, the riders are going to come back into their positions once again, and you know, this is still, you've got to remember that for there to be grids at all in this 2020 season, the way the world situation is still a very big achievement. And although not every grid is going to be burgeoning and full to the brim, you've still got to give everybody the credit for getting out here in the first place. Now the flag is going to drop, and now we're going to go racing.
Here we go then. So the first race on today for this group gets underway. Oh, this looks more like it. The first corner, a bit more aggressive, you would say. So that's the 57 there, coming up to the top corner. And oh, it's very close indeed into Christmas for the first time. Now, got the Bucci bikes out there as well, the Ovali. Very similar sort of machinery out here. So once again, it's very closely fought. And we saw this at Lyd actually. There weren't many riders in this race, but it did seem to be very competitive. And certainly, you would say there's no real margin for error at the moment.
The difficulty we have, of course, on talking of a race like this, unfortunately, is that, you know, with the timing screen still down, it's very difficult to identify those in the field other than the ones that have already competed in previous rounds, and that's where the difficulty is. But we've certainly got Stevenson there running a very good race at the moment as he runs through at the head of this pack at the present moment. And obviously, based on the times that they had yesterday, he is looking very strong as he now moves there into second position, having got a decent run away from the pack, running a very good battle as things currently preside. But as you mentioned, you know, we've had some very solid competitors running in this battle and in this particular group over the last 2 rounds. Chris Weston there, though, trying to close in on Rhys Stevenson, but it is Ash Barnes, the 46, that is out in front.
Yeah, just picking up the details here now as we see who's who, and there's Reece Stevenson. Ash Barnes looking good at the moment, had a decent start. There's the 17 of Chris Weston at the moment, alone in that position. We go through boot once again. Rest around the corner, and here they come down towards the finish line once again.
Dan Goodman's in the mix there in 4th position. I think we may have lost Mikey Shuka, the 75. I think that is Willis actually who's in there, the 151 bike in 5th position. So I'm not quite sure what happened to Mikey Shuka, but certainly running in a fairly decent position. It's a different bike to what we've seen before. Maybe that is Shuka, in fact, actually, because I think Peter Willis runs in different overalls than that, as far as I'm aware. So
a bit different there. So
Willis must have focused on his other classes today.
I'll have to pick that one up afterwards, maybe. It certainly looks like Ash Barnes looking strong at the front at this stage as they make their way down to complete another lap. We're looking at Daniel Goodman on the 57 at the moment. A bit unfair to say battle for last place 6. It is very competitive. Even though there's not many riders in this race, it is still very competitive indeed as they make their way through boot once again and down towards the finish line. Still Ash Barnes leading the way. Reece Stevenson looking strong from Chris Weston, and the 57 of Daniel Goodman. There is the race leader Barnes through Christmas Corner. Stevenson in 2nd. Now we haven't got the lap times at the moment, so we can't give an idea of the pace, but at the moment Stevenson looks strong. Barnes maintaining a good pace at the front. There he is in the green overalls, green and black overalls, leading his way through. And well, Stevenson looks strong here, but Barnes, sometimes when they're very smooth, you would say, it just goes to how much speed they're carrying, because Barnes looking very smooth and serene at the front at this stage.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, once you've got a decent opening lap, you can really start to stretch your legs out, and if he's got confidence on the bike, then he can really start to make progress. Here's that battle still for 4th place between Goodman and Shuka, and they're continuing their little squabble over 4th place. But this is that same adage that we said again a little earlier on. You've got to be in it to win it. You've really got to push for it. And with these two, you know, you're battling for 4th position, maybe a few seconds off the lead now, but the next time, that battle's going to be for a higher position. Shuka having a look on the inside, and I think that's going to be done. There's no question about that. Really nicely nailed there by Shuka.
Had that one nailed coming out of Fair Lady. Nice exit out of the corner, got the drive up the hill, but certainly you would say Goodman not giving this one up as you go down into Ashby. Shuka really tilting that bike over there. It was a very tight corner angle through Ashby, you would say. So Goodman trying to fight back now down the inside once again. Of course, this Mini GP 119-70 group, not with the numbers compared to some of the other classes, but certainly plenty of action and very competitive. Stevenson is still there in 3rd. We've still got Ash Barnes and Chris Weston in 3rd. And this is the battle for 4th position as they make their way around the final corner. A nice little move there on the inside, and Goodman can't find a way through at the moment.
And it's very difficult to find the overtaking move when the rider in front of you has already got the overtake on you and seems to have found some momentum. It's hard to get back on the horse, essentially, and get back into a gallop, because you've really got to work hard on where you were vulnerable the first time around. How did you lose that position? What was wrong? Where did you lose out? And then you have to work on that and try and read the situation better, chase the opponent and see where they're vulnerable. You've basically got to give as good as you've got, essentially. And this is a difficult one for Goodman, because it's clear that Shuka's not able to disappear. He's not able to pull out a gap, but he still has a little bit of momentum on his side, does Goodman, so he doesn't want to back down off the chase. I'm starting to wonder, those clouds are coming back over the circuit. Might there be the slightest hint of a drizzle coming over the circuit now? That's going to play into the hands of a few of the riders later.
Let's have a look as the day goes on, and it certainly seems that Goodman's quicker on the second half of the lap, and Shuka pulling away on these fast opening parts of the lap here. At the moment, it's still Ash Barnes that leads the way. 2nd position is the 17 of Chris Weston. Reece Stevenson was in 3rd. We're concentrating on this battle between Shuka and Goodman down into Ashby. And once again, the 57 of Goodman seemed to lose pace at the first part of the lap on the run up to Christmas. Now we get towards the more tighter technical parts of the track. Goodman seems to have some nice lines through here, seems to be aggressive on the braking and really closing up as we make our way through towards the final part of the lap. And again, you see, it just seems to ebb and flow sometimes. The Goodman again really closing up as we go towards the boot complex around the final corner. And let's have a look and see what the 44 does here, because I think may well pull away again now through the first couple of corners. Let's have a look going up to Christmas. Has a glance over the shoulder, and yes, indeed, pulling away. This is the sort of race that seems to ebb and flow, because you'll find that one rider will be quicker on one part of the track, and then the other one quicker on the second part. It just seems to all fall together, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's stalemate, and this is the thing. You know, you're sat behind your rider that you're trying to overtake, but you can't gain enough momentum. You can't find that little bit of extra speed, that little bit of extra grip. You can't get that switchback maneuver, and essentially then you're stuck. You know, you're in a rock and a hard place. You're trying to find a way to come through. And there's nothing really on a circuit this technical that you can change other than hope that the guy in front is going to make a little bit of an error. And as I say that, Schuka's looking the tiniest bit twitchy through the toe of the boot as they come through the heel and then back onto the main straight, up towards Oblivion. You've got to get right over for that corner, although Goodman seems to have found a line that works better for him. It's slightly over from the outside line. And of course, that outer line is normally a decent racing line. Is he going to charge at the inside? He came from so far back.
Goodman had a nice line there through the first corner. Seemed to, I think he was just sussing it out almost there. Better line that time out to the corner. And on the run up to Christmas here, we see once again, lovely exit out to the corner. And, well, just all he did really is carry the momentum, wasn't it?
You'd be forgiven for thinking that Schuka's got a little mechanical problem there, because Goodman has literally come from so far back and charged up the inside line there. Really solid manoeuvre. And considering he was a good, 4 or 5 bike lengths behind as they came out of Crook, that's a really confident start there from Goodman. He felt he had a little bit more momentum. He's changed his line slightly as he comes through. Look, watch him again. He's not quite over to the far side, is he? But that inside line, it gives him a slightly better purchase out of Oblivion and Crook.
Now Schuka's going to try and repay the favour here. Had a nice, neat line out on the approach to Christmas. As a look down the inside, they're making the moves here on the exit of the second corner, it seems. All about the exit speed of that corner. Goodman making the pass on momentum. And we should say this is the battle for the last place at the moment. It sounds harsh to say, isn't it? But
well, it is, but if it's the best race that's out there, then fair enough. But at the same time, you know, they've put so much rubber down at Oblivion and Crook now that this is what I was talking about. This second half of the day, the riders can afford to be a little bit more aggro on the throttle as they come through those first 2 corners, because the bike will bite more, it'll get more grip, and it will stick to the road better. But in the early phases of the races, you're never quite going to have that same opportunity, because the bike is on greasy surfaces, it's squabbling, it's tilting, you're trying not to get it into a tank stabber. Schuka's now got more confidence. Look, he's putting a lot more speed in through that first apex, and he's going to drive straight
on the exit. Yeah, on the exit of the corner there. That was almost a pass that was...
And back again!
Yeah, he's overcommitted himself here. Schuka again on the outside on the exit of Christmas. Very close, and carries the momentum there on the outside down to Ashby, and he's going to make the move stick there. So all about momentum there. These bikes are almost identical on power. And, well, he's held on this time, and Goodman's got to try and fight again. It's still Ash Barnes that leads. I believe Stevenson second.
That is what 3 overtakes in 3 corners looks like. That is absolutely mega from the 2 of them. And they're absolutely giving it full chat, total and utter commitment in every single bend. That's a really, really sweet little duel that they just had. And now each man knows what the other's capable of. Last lap, they're going to push it. And Goodman's got to find something special here, because he's really been caught out by Schuka. He didn't realise that Schuka could come from that far back and do the same deed he's done to him. So now he's got to come from a long way back, but he's never going to nail that one.
So it was all about the momentum out of that second corner. These bikes very similar on pace, so it's all about exit speed. And they almost touch handlebars going down into Ashby, but Schuka's got the line as we were looking at to see where Ash Barnes, I think, will take the checkered flag. Going to be Rhys Stevenson second, Chris Weston third, concentrating on this battle for 4th position. And yes, indeed,
checkered flag's gone out.
Has taken the win, so win for Ash Barnes.
But is Goodman's there, back up the inside. Goodman's got him. Goodman's got him on the inside line, and now Schuka's going to try and come on the final turn one more time. He's got him back. This is going to be to the line between these two now.
Yeah, he's got the exit. That's... I think without the luxury of transponder timing there, I think it looks like Schuka just about took that one.
Maybe by half a wheel length at most.
And this is the interesting part here, because we've got bikes identical on power almost. It's all about line choice and getting the exit speed, because it's difficult sometimes to do a simple out braking maneuver.
Schuka looks pretty satisfied with that one. He's almost weeping there. Oh, either that or he feels that he just missed out. I think you've got it, mate. I think you did it.
Yeah, I mean, we are running without the transponder times here, so we believe that we are still running at race control, so they will have the luxury of that.
I want to see that duel again. The 3 moves in 3 corners, because that was pretty spicy, and you could see, you know, this was two riders giving it as good as they've got in fine momentum. And the first one was out of the final turn into the first corner, because you had Schuker diving up the inside of Goodman, and I think that really took the wind out of Goodman's sails a little bit. So then as they came out of Crook and Oblivion, he was able to get back on the inside line for the braking zone. So it was a very cunning maneuver that he managed to pull off. Really, really exciting stuff between the two riders. But